what you do when you fill up, when you're driving, right? And then it continues when you go through the drive-through. It's particularly there that prices have been rocketing. And so far, a lot of customers are saying, all right, we'll absorb this because, well, we love our fast food. Ed Rensi is the former McDonald's USA CEO. He is like the Yoda of the fast food industry, you know, not at all overweight, but he gets it. He understands what's going on there. Ed, it's remarkable to me to see the underlying demand, all these post-pandemic problems notwithstanding, for fast food still out there, even with the jump in prices. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a pretty simple thing. In the quick service restaurant industry, it's a convenience and it's a basic commodity of need of time-compressed people. So they're going to do what they have to do to survive. Although I've seen a dramatic shift in product mix in a lot of ways to more value orientation in their menu selections and things of that nature. Restaurateurs are entrepreneurs by nature, and they're making adjustments as they go along to remain profitable. You know, I grew up in the 70s. I started working for McDonald's in 1965, and I lived through wage and price controls. I lived through stagflation in New Jersey, where gasoline lines were out on the street and police were guarding the traffic flow. I lived through that, and it feels exactly like that right now.
Yeah, I lived through that myself, my friend. Then the question becomes, how does it gain traction so fast? A good question in that regard from Jonathan in Michigan. Ed, I want you to listen to this.
Why does produce and poultry and things of that nature in the grocery store cost more now? And why is it limited all of a sudden?
Why is that, Ed?
Well, the cost of production of green leafy vegetables and things of that nature hasn't changed. In fact, cost has gone up a little bit because of supply of water in the western areas where a great amount of produce was produced. Then you got a huge issue of transportation. When Biden got elected back in January, before he was November, before he was even inaugurated, he said he was going to shut down the pipeline and disrupt the oil industry. Well, that means nothing but increases in prices of transportation. So cost of getting goods across the United States has gone up very, very quickly. The price of fuel is going crazy. Even on cargo ships, the price of bunker C to fire those boilers to keep those things moving is going up. That's immediate. That's not 10 years from now. That is right now. And it's reflected in the price of the products when they finally get to your kitchen table or into a restaurant.
That's a very good point, especially if one of those products is your lifeblood. The festival owner in New York City has a question for you on this very issue. Take a look.
My question is, what is going on with the price of coffee? Is it the beans? Is it the cost of goods? Is it the labor? Is it government regulation? And more importantly, am I going to have to raise the price of the Cavuto Espresso Martini?
Say it ain't so. But what do you think, Ed? What's going on there?
Well, the biggest single reason we've had a disruption in the coffee bean industry and cost is the weather in Brazil. Brazil is the largest coffee bean producer in the world. There are specialty coffees coming out of Colombia that aren't hit quite so bad. But when there's a shortage, demand goes up, and that means the price is going to follow. And I hope it's going to abate soon, but you still have the transportation problem because those coffee beans have got to get from Brazil, Colombia to the United States. And you know, I don't know how many containers are sitting out in the ocean right now full of coffee that can't get unloaded. And the cost of getting it here is going up. So I don't think it's going to abate anytime soon. It's tragic because coffee is really an enjoyable luxury that feels like a necessity. And it's going to deteriorate over time cost-wise.
Yeah, and it's not only the products you buy, sometimes it's the pressures that are created as a result. A good starting off point for Peter in New York City, who wants to ask you this.
I'm a small business owner, and I have a big problem with workers, with labor. And my question is, when it's like gonna stop? So when is people gonna come back to work? Because no one's wanna work right now.
Yeah, with all the incentives and big pay boosts, no one's responding. What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, our federal government and a lot of state governments, because of the pandemic and lockdown, have rewarded people to stay home, and they do. You know, I can tell you about single mothers, particularly that I've talked to, that they're getting child care subsidies, they're staying at home, and more importantly, they're doing all this homeschooling, and when you're a single mother, you don't have many options.
Right.
Well, that takes a very large part of the population out of the workforce temporarily, I hope. But restaurateurs are starting to react, as are grocery stores and everybody else. I can tell you the demand power in restaurants, quick service restaurants, has gone from 65 employees in the 1980s down to 30 and 35, headed for 15. The use of digital systems and video, artificial intelligence, is eliminating people like crazy.
Yeah.
Efficiencies in the kitchen and cooking and production is changing. So this labor thing is a nightmare right now, and filling jobs is unbelievably hard.
Yeah, and including 4.5 million Americans who just quit the workforce or are looking to do so. It's wild. Very, very quickly, my friend, your sense of how long all this inflation, these spikes last?
Well, you tell me when we're going to get an energy policy that makes more sense than what we have right now. The fact that we're begging OPEC to produce more oil, the Canadians are building a pipeline all the way to the west coast of Canada to ship oil out of the central provinces to China. China's buying up everything to get their hands on. We're selling natural gas to China, and we can't use it here in our own country. It's the most insane federal policy I've ever seen in my life. It just doesn't make any sense. And if this keeps up, I think we got 4 more years of this nonsense.
Oh, we'll keep a close eye on it. My friend Ed Rensi, the former McDonald's USA CEO, everything that is